How vast is the universe? What does our life amount to in the boundless cosmos? When you gaze at the starry sky, watching countless twinkling stars, have you ever wondered about the origin and the end of this world? Humanity has never ceased to question the universe. From modern scientific telescopes to ancient philosophical meditation, every form of contemplation attempts to touch upon this grand enigma. However, over 2,000 years ago, the Buddhist cosmology already depicted a magnificent panorama of the cosmic scale and the trajectory of life, known as the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds. This is not merely a concept of space. The 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds also embody Buddhism's unique understanding of time and life. From the Buddhist perspective, the universe is not static and unchanging, but a dynamic living entity. Every world undergoes a cycle of formation, existence, decline, and dissolution, known as the kalpa of formation, habitation, destruction, and emptiness, continuously repeating without end. This cyclical process of arising and passing away seems to narrate the impermanence of all phenomena. Whether it is the vast cosmos or the life of each individual, all arise and cease amidst endless change. Even more astonishing is that Buddhism intimately connects this infinite cycle with the fate of every individual. The vast expanse of the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds encompasses billions of stars, and each world is the domain of a Buddhist teaching and transformation. This is not only an imagination of the cosmic scale, but also a spiritual enlightenment, reminding us that life is not solitary. Every individual exists within a network upheld by karma and conditions, intimately connected with the entire universe. Today, as science and technology allow us to observe galaxies billions of light years away and distant stars, when we look back at the Buddhist concept of the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds, we're not only amazed by its imagination, but also deeply moved by its profound philosophical significance. It transcends mere material description, leading us into a contemplation that is both expansive and profound. How do we understand infinite space and time? What is the meaning of our life? In this magnificent panorama, we can not only perceive the vastness of the universe, but also hear profound revelations about impermanence, causality, and hope. In today's video, we will explore the mysteries of the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds in Buddhism. If you are interested in Buddhist culture or seeking inner peace and wisdom, please subscribe to my channel to join in listening to the teachings of the Dharma together. May Amitabha Buddha bless everyone with the light of the Buddha in their hearts, fill them with Dharma joy, and enable their practice to be unhindered. In Buddhist cosmology, the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds is an extraordinarily magnificent concept. It attempts to depict the vastness and order of the universe, allowing us to gain a deeper understanding of the existence of life. This concept is not merely a simple description of the scale of the universe, but a profound exploration of Buddhist thought regarding the significance of time, space, and life. Through the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds, we can not only imagine the vastness of the cosmos, but also perceive the interconnectedness and significance of life within this expansive realm. According to Buddhist descriptions, the 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds are not a single unified whole, but are composed layer by layer of small worlds, small thousand worlds, medium thousand worlds, and great thousand worlds. This hierarchical structure makes the cosmos organization clearly visible. If a small world is regarded as a solar system, then a small thousand-world system corresponds to 1,000 solar systems. A medium thousand-world system contains 1,000,000 solar systems, and a great thousand-world system is unimaginably vast, encompassing 1 billion solar systems. Descriptions of this scale are both intuitive and rich with philosophical profundity. 1,000 is not merely a number. In Buddhism, it symbolizes infinite possibilities. A small, pure world can be envisioned as the home of countless sentient beings. When these smaller world systems combine to form a larger whole, They create the multi-layered structure of the 3,000 great thousand worlds. It is not merely a simple spatial accumulation, but a profound interconnectedness and network. Each region taught by a Buddha is a thousand great thousand world. For example, the world we live in is called the Saha world, which was taught by Shakyamuni Buddha. In the distant west, there is the pure land of ultimate bliss taught by Amitabha Buddha. In the east, there is the lapis lazuli world transformed by the medicine Buddha. Each of the 3,000 great thousand worlds possesses its own uniqueness, bearing the destinies and hopes of various sentient beings. This hierarchical structure of the universe not only reflects Buddhism's profound understanding of cosmic order, but also implies the subtle causal connections between all forms of life. From the Buddhist perspective, each small world is like a miniature universe, containing complete rules of time and space. These small worlds are interconnected through endless causes and conditions, forming a greater whole. This structure is not static but dynamic, filled with the potential for generation, transformation, and development. It emphasizes that the universe is not an isolated entity, but is woven together by countless networks of cause and effect. What astonishes people is not only the vast scale of the 3,000 great thousand worlds, but also the manifestation of its inherent order. In the work of Buddhism, these worlds are not eternal and unchanging. Rather, they undergo the purification of time, continuously cycling through birth, existence, decay, and dissolution. This cycle not only embodies the Buddhist philosophy of impermanence, but also makes one realize that, although the universe is vast, it is not beyond comprehension. Its formation and development have always followed the law of causality. Elements such as wind wheels and water wheels coalesce to form the world. Life proliferates, survives, declines, and ultimately returns to emptiness within this cycle, laying the foundation for the next rebirth. When we attempt to compare this concept with modern scientific astronomy, we can more deeply appreciate the profoundness of the Buddhist cosmology. Modern astronomy has discovered that the Milky Way contains hundreds of billions of stars, and the universe contains countless galaxies similar to the Milky Way. The vast scale of the Buddhist concept of the 3,000 great thousand worlds remarkably corresponds to the immense expanse of these galaxies. When Buddhism speaks of dependent origination and impermanent change, it also reminds us that although modern science continuously reveals the material structure of the universe, there may still be many mysteries to explore regarding the nature of life and the meaning of the cosmos. The concept of the 3,000 great thousand worlds transcends the limitations of time and space, portraying the universe as a dynamic whole filled with change and causality. It helps us understand that no matter how vast the scale of the universe is, life remains an essential part of it, and each life finds its own place within this infinite cosmos, carrying unique significance. This is not only Buddhism's depiction of the universe, but also its profound compassion for life. In this vast and boundless universe of the 3,000 great thousand worlds, every sentient being is an indispensable part of the cosmos. In the Buddhist cosmology, time is not static. It is a process filled with cycles and transformations, permeating the formation and dissolution of every world. This flow of time is referred to as a kalpa in Buddhism. It not only describes the cosmic timescale, but also reveals the impermanent nature of the universe, the world, and life itself. Through the division of kalpas, we gain a glimpse into Buddhism's unique understanding of time and profound insight into the rise and fall of all phenomena. A kalpa is a time unit imbued with philosophical significance. It does not have a fixed length, but is a dynamic process. Buddhism divides kalpas into three levels: minor kalpa, intermediate kalpa, and major kalpa, each with its own regulations and significance. From the shortest kalpa to the longest kalpa, the scale of time gradually expands, and the transformations of the universe become increasingly grand. Understanding the cycle of kalpas is not only key to comprehending the Buddhist cosmology, but also an important starting point for contemplating the meaning of life. A ka is the basic unit of a moment, measuring the passage of time through the changes in human lifespan. Within a kalpa segment, human lifespan undergoes a complete cycle of increase and decrease, starting from the peak lifespan of 84,000 years. Every 100 years, the lifespan decreases by 1 year until it shortens to only 10 years. This period is called the declining phase. When human lifespan decreases to its lowest point, it then begins to increase in the opposite direction, growing by 1 year every 100 years until it returns to 84,000 years. This stage is known as the increasing phase. A minor cycle consists of such a process of decline followed by rise. Through such descriptions, Buddhism not only presents the scale of kalpas by the length of time, but also closely connects it with the laws of life, providing us with a more intuitive understanding of the concept of impermanence. A kalpa termination is composed of 20 smaller kalpa segments, and its significance is even more profound. In the Buddhist cosmology, the existence of any world undergoes 4 stages: formation, duration, dissolution, and emptiness, with each stage corresponding to 1 kalpa. The period of formation marks the birth of a world. In the void, the wind will first take shape, followed by the rotation of the water wheel, as the particles of dust in the universe gradually coalesce. This process is akin to the origin of the universe described by modern science, from nebulae to the formation of planets, all of which involve the combination and aggregation of countless particles. After the world comes into existence, it enters the stage of permanence and stability, which is a period of worldly prosperity and the flourishing development of life. During the period of successive kalpas in the age of increasing kalpas, the world gradually became more beautiful, the environment more suitable, and life continuously flourished. However, the law of impermanence dictates that prosperity cannot last forever. In the latter half of each kalpa, the period of decline begins, and the world gradually moves towards deterioration. The environment worsens, natural disasters become frequent, and suffering such as wars and plagues pervades the experience of life. Eons reveal a complete cycle of prosperity and decline, reminding us that neither the world nor life can escape the impermanent cycle. After the end of the kalpas, the world enters the phase of decline known as the kalpa of deterioration. At this moment, the signs of life gradually fade away, and the world begins to collapse. Destructive forces such as fire, flood, and wind disasters successively arise until everything turns to ashes. In Buddhist descriptions, this stage, although filled with tragedy, is not a permanent end, but rather a part of the cosmic evolution. Ultimately, the world entered the era of emptiness calamity. At this stage, the once flourishing world returns to emptiness, transforming into a silent void. There is no life, no light. Everything is in a state of cessation. However, this cessation is not the end, but the beginning of a new cycle of kalpas. In the Buddhist cosmology, a kalpa of emptiness not only symbolizes an end, but also heralds a new beginning, embodying the philosophical idea that every ending is a new birth. A mahakalpa is a larger cycle of time, consisting of the 4 phases: formation, existence, dissolution, and emptiness, representing the complete process of a world from its birth to its destruction. In other words, a great kalpa is the life cycle of a world, and within the scope of the 3,000 great thousand worlds, such cycles do not occur singularly, but arise in succession, alternating continuously. When one world is in the stage of formation, sada, another world may be in the stage of abiding, vibhanga, while yet other worlds may be in the stages of dissolution, bhanga, or emptiness, ayatana. The changes in the universe do not occur simultaneously, but continue in a complex and dynamic manner, embodying the principle of dependent origination in the Buddhist cosmology. This cyclical concept of time not only demonstrates Buddhism's profound understanding of the laws of the universe, but also prompts us to reflect on the nature of the reality we live in. In modern science, we understand that the universe originated from the Big Bang, followed by the birth and death of stars, as well as the formation and destruction of galaxies. These processes bear a remarkable similarity to the Buddhist concepts of arising, abiding, transforming, and cessation. The issues emerging in modern society, such as global warming, resource depletion, and ecological deterioration, can also be seen as reactions during the phase of diminishing harmony, reminding us to cherish the current world and protect the Earth's environment to slow the process of decline. The cycle of seasons is not only the law of the universe, but also a symbol of life. From the Buddhist perspective, the cyclic nature of time serves as a profound warning. Whether in prosperity or destruction, impermanence is always the ultimate truth governing all. The process of the transformation of all dharmas teaches us that all goodness must be cherished, all suffering will eventually pass, and every ending paves the way for a new beginning. This is not only a wisdom of the cosmic view, but also a profound contemplation on life and time. Formation, abiding, dissolution, and emptiness constitute the Buddhist classic depiction of the laws governing the evolution of the universe, and also represent a profound insight into the inherent nature of the decay of all phenomena. These four stages not only depict the entire process from the birth to the destruction of the world, but also metaphorically represent all the laws of life, time, and existence. They are not only the laws governing the operation of the universe, but also the core wisdom in Buddhist philosophy concerning impermanence, causality, and cyclicality, embodying the profound connection between humanity and nature, as well as the individual and the cosmos. Formation is the starting point, the process by which all things coalesce from emptiness. The rotation of the wind wheel and water wheel, along with the aggregation of dust particles, form the prototype of the universe, demonstrating the creative power brought about by the conjunction of dependent origination. This is not only the birth of the universe, but also a metaphor for the emergence of life. It reminds us that all existence arises from dependent origination. Cherishing the starting point is to respect the essence of life. Abiding is flourishing. It is the stable phase of the universe. The world is currently vibrant and orderly, yet the flourishing born from increase and decrease cannot endure. The ensuing simplicity brings decline and crisis. The significance of practicing restraint is to remind us that even the most glorious moments will come to an end, and that during prosperity, carefulness and moderation are even more necessary. In modern society, the guidance of the abbot is particularly evident. How to find a balance between technological development and environmental crisis determines the direction of our future. Evil is disintegration, a stage where all things inevitably return to impermanence. Fierce flames consume mountains and rivers, great waters inundate the earth, and the world gradually moves toward extinction. Although the destructive process is filled with devastation, it is not an absolute end, but rather the prelude to rebirth. It teaches us that only by letting go of attachment and fear can we find the transformative power within loss. Emptiness is tranquility. It is the 0 point to which all phenomena return. Emptiness and purity are not nihilism, but the state that nurtures all possibilities. Every ending is the beginning of another journey, just as the cessation of all things creates space for new life. The philosophical significance of emptiness lies in embracing change and endings, viewing the conclusion as the beginning of infinite possibilities. Formation, abiding, decay, and emptiness are not only universal laws, but also a reflection of human life. Life moves from its beginning to its peak, from valleys to its end, recurring in an endless cycle. The 3,000 Great Thousand Worlds is a magnificent expression of the Buddhist cosmology. However, its wisdom goes beyond merely describing the scale of the universe. It offers profound insights for modern people. This ancient philosophical system reveals the vastness of the universe, the impermanence of life, and the profound interconnectedness between the individual and the whole, allowing us to reassess our relationship with ourselves and the world in the fast-paced modern society. First, the vastness of the 3,000 great thousand worlds helps us to rediscover our own insignificance and uniqueness. The Buddhist depiction of 1 billion solar systems forming a great thousand world aligns with the immense scale of galaxies described in modern astronomy. Although individuals are small, Buddhism holds that every existence is indispensable. This idea of dependent origination reminds us that each person's actions can affect the whole. From environmental protection to social responsibility, our choices not only shape ourselves, but also influence the future of the world. Secondly, the dynamic cycles of the 3,000 great thousand worlds provide us with the wisdom to face change. In Buddhist descriptions, each world undergoes the cycle of arising, abiding, decay, and dissolution, with impermanence being the only unchanging truth. Modern society is filled with change and uncertainty. The philosophy of the 3,000 great thousand worlds teaches us that rather than resisting change, it is better to embrace it, harness it, and accept impermanence. This acceptance is the first step toward wisdom and liberation. Moreover, this cosmological view broadens our understanding of time. In modern society, many people are troubled by short-term goals and a fast pace, whereas the Buddhist conception of time extends across small cycles, large cycles, and even infinite cycles of rebirth. He reminds us that the gains and losses before our eyes do not define life. What truly matters is the long-term accumulation and the cultivation of wholesome karma. A long-term perspective not only cultivates greater patience in facing immediate challenges, but also encourages us to take responsibility for the future world. The spiritual value of the 3,000 great thousand worlds has transcended the scope of religion and has become a guiding philosophy for life. It enables us to comprehend the universal interconnectedness of life, accept the impermanent changes of the world, respect the significance of all living beings, and face each day with compassion and wisdom. Regardless of how the external world changes, the Buddhist concept of the 3,000 great thousand worlds continually guides us on a path toward tranquility and enlightenment. This is not only a reverence for the cosmos, but also a profound care for life itself.